All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Anuja Kumar and with me is Sunil Verma. The headlines. Polling underway for 8th and last phase of assembly elections in West Bengal. Polling also begins for 4th and final phase of Panchayat elections in Uttar Pradesh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi sanctions procurement of 1 lakh portable oxygen concentrators under PM CARES Fund. More than 80 lakh people register themselves for third phase of COVID vaccination beginning 1st of May. Total vaccination across the country touches almost 15 crore mark. India's homegrown Covaxin found to neutralize double mutant or 617 variant of novel coronavirus. Jammu and Kashmir government imposes lockdown in 11 districts till 7 a.m. on Monday. Bihar government announces new COVID guidelines. Duration of night curfew extended. Centre leaves GPF and other non-government PF interest rate unchanged at 7.1%. And Chennai Super Kings beat Sunrisers Hyderabad by 7 wickets in IPL cricket. As the number of COVID cases is on the rise, we appeal to our listeners to take all the precautions and all those above 18 years of age to get vaccinated without any hesitation. The vaccination for the persons of ages between 18 and 44 would begin from 1st of May at designated facilities. Stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Polling is underway for the 8th and last phase of assembly elections in West Bengal. The polling, which began at 7 this morning, will conclude at 6:30 p.m. Voting is taking place for 35 assembly seats spread over 4 districts in this phase. 283 candidates, including 35 women, are in the fray. BJP and Trinamool Congress have fielded candidates on all the seats. Congress is contesting 19 seats under the banner of Samyukt Morcha, a coalition between Congress, Left and the Indian Secular Front ISF. CPIM is contesting 10 seats and ISF 4. The Election Commission has deployed 641 companies of central forces to ensure free and fair polling. The poll body has decided to use Voter Verifiable Paper Audit Trail VVPAT along with electronic voting machine EVM at every polling station with a view to enhance the transparency and credibility of the election process. The arrangements have already been made to ensure availability of adequate number of EVMs and VVPATs for the smooth conduct of elections. In view of the prevailing COVID-19 pandemic, the Election Commission has decided to allow maximum 1,000 electors in a polling station instead of the earlier stipulation of 1,500 electors. Option of postal ballot facility has been extended to the electors who are COVID-19 positive or suspect, along with those marked as persons with disabilities and above the age of 80 years. It will be ensured that every polling station is equipped with assured minimum facilities like drinking water, waiting shed, toilet with water facility, adequate arrangements for lighting, and a ramp of appropriate gradient for the persons with disabilities. The special facilities will include mandatory sanitization of polling stations, thermal checking of voters at entry point, either by the polling staff or paramedical staff or an ASHA worker. If temperature is above the set norms of the Health Ministry, then the elector will be provided with a token and asked to come for voting at the last hour of poll. At the last hour of polls, such electors will be facilitated for voting strictly following COVID-19 related preventive measures. The 8th and final phase will bring to an end the high-octane electoral battle in the state. The counting of votes will be taken up on the 2nd of May. Now we go over live to our correspondent, Sudhindra. Sudhindra, how is the polling going on?
Last phase of West Bengal election has commenced peacefully at 7 a.m. today, and I am in Belaghatta Assembly segment in North Kolkata. There are actually 7 seats going to the polls in North Kolkata today. In this particular booth where I am now, I can see a long queue swelling onto the road, and police personnel and paramilitary personnel can be seen making efforts to regulate the queue, Anuja.
Sudhindra, what are the arrangements made at the polling stations, keeping in view the spike in COVID cases?
Well, regarding COVID protocol, the situation is really grave here in West Bengal, especially in Kolkata. So special attention is given to prevent the pandemic to spread during the polling. Polling personnel, security personnel and the health workers are coordinating well to guide the voters into the polling booth, and at the entrance the person who sees the document of the voters, he sees the booth number and accordingly he directs them, and then the voters are given sanitizers and plastic gloves to wear. Anuja.
And who are the key candidates in this phase?
Yes, you see, a keen contest is seen in the last phase of the election. In Maniktal Assembly seat, the State Consumer Affairs Minister and 7-time MLA Sadhan Pandey of TMC will fight former India footballer and BJP candidate Kalyan Chaubey and CPIM's Rupa Bagchi. And in Shyampukur seat, State Minister for Women and Child Development and Social Welfare Sashi Panja is contesting against BJP's Sandeepan Bishwas and AIFP's Jeevan Prakash Saha. And in Belaghata, TMC has fielded Paresh Paul against BJP's Kashinath Bishwas and CPIM's Rajiv Bishwas. And in Jarasenko, BJP has fielded Meena Devi Purohit against TMC's Vivek Gupta and Congress Ajmal Khan. Anuja.
Thank you, Sudhindra, for the update.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has called upon people to cast their vote and enrich the festival of democracy in line with the COVID-19 protocols in the last phase of the West Bengal Assembly elections today. Polling has begun for fourth and final phase of Panchayat elections in Uttar Pradesh. The polling, which began at 7 this morning, will end at 6 p.m. More than 2 crore 98 lakh voters are expected to exercise their franchise in 17 districts. State Election Commission has issued orders for strict compliance of COVID protocol during the polling. Voters will have to put on masks and maintain social distancing. Instructions have also been issued to make circles at a distance of 6 feet at the polling centres. The counting of votes will be taken up on 2nd of May. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has sanctioned the procurement of 1 lakh portable oxygen concentrators from the PM CARES Fund. The decision was taken at a high-level meeting chaired by Mr. Modi to discuss the measures needed to improve liquid medical oxygen supply for COVID management. The Prime Minister instructed that these oxygen concentrators should be procured at the earliest and provided in states with high case burden. In addition to the earlier sanctioned 713 pressure swing absorption PSA oxygen plants under PM CARES Fund, 500 new PSA oxygen plants have been sanctioned under PM CARES Fund. The PSA plants will augment the supply of liquid medical oxygen at hospitals in district headquarters and Tier 2 cities. These 500 PSA plants will be established with transfer of the indigenous technology developed by DRDO and CSIR to the domestic manufacturers.
The government has informed that more than 80 lakh people registered themselves for the third phase of COVID vaccination. The Health Ministry said over 80 lakh people registered themselves on the CoWIN portal in the first 3 hours from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. It said the digital platform continues to work without any technical glitch on the first day of registration of the expanded eligible population groups. The ministry said the media reports that the server of CoWIN platform has crashed are baseless. It said there are 383 million hits within first 3 hours and 1.45 crore SMSs were successfully delivered. It is recording 55,000 hits per second and is completely stable. It said the CoWIN software is a robust, dependable and agile technology and it offers anytime, anywhere registration for COVID-19 vaccination. The capacity of the servers and other parameters have been ramped up to match the unprecedented scale of immunization so that the CoWIN system provides citizen-centric services. The registration process for COVID vaccination to all above 18 years began yesterday. They will be vaccinated from 1st of next month. All those eligible can register on CoWIN portal, cowin.gov.in, Arogya Setu app and Umang app. The total vaccination across the country has come near the 15 crore mark. Over 14 crore 98 lakh vaccine doses have been administered till now. Over 93 lakh healthcare workers have taken the first dose and over 61 lakh have taken the second dose. over 1 crore 23 lakh frontline workers have taken the first dose and nearly 66 lakh have taken the second dose. Over 5 crore people over 45 years old to 60 years old have taken the first dose and over 31 lakh have taken the second dose. Over 5 crore people above 60 years have taken the first dose and over 98 lakh have taken the second dose. Over 20 lakh vaccine doses were given yesterday, out of which nearly 12 lakh beneficiaries were vaccinated for the first dose and over 8 lakh beneficiaries received the second dose of the vaccine.
Covaxin, India's homegrown COVID-19 vaccine, has been found to neutralize double mutant or 617 variant of the novel coronavirus. This was stated by White House Chief Medical Advisor and America's top pandemic expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci. The statement comes days after Indian Council of Medical Research announced that Covaxin is effective against the double mutant. Dr. Fauci said, despite the real difficulty that we are seeing in India, vaccination could be a very, very important antidote against this. Developed by Bharat Biotech in partnership with National Institute of Virology and Indian Council of Medical Research, Covaxin was approved for emergency use on 3rd of January. Trial results later showed the vaccine has an efficacy of 78%. Serum Institute of India has dropped the price of Covishield vaccine by 100 rupees for state government. In a tweet, Serum's CEO Adar Poonawalla said, as a philanthropic gesture, Serum Institute will provide Covishield to states for 300 rupees with immediate effect. This will save thousands of crores of state funds going forward. He said, this will enable more vaccinations and save countless lives. Serum had priced Covishield at 400 rupees for state government hospitals and 600 rupees for private hospitals.
The United Nations has said UN bodies including WHO and UNICEF are supporting India's response to the pandemic by providing equipment and supplies, including 7,000 oxygen concentrators. In a statement, UN spokesperson said the team in India, led by Resident Coordinator Renata Locke-Dizelian, is supporting authorities' response to COVID-19. The statement said the World Health Organization and UNICEF are procuring equipment and supplies, including 7,000 oxygen concentrators and 500 nasal devices for oxygen supply, as well as oxygen generating plants, COVID-19 testing machines, and personal protective kits. The spokesperson said some 2,600 WHO field officers have been immediately deployed to support health authorities to curb the spread of the pandemic. In Maharashtra, UNICEF has engaged experts to work on risk governance, informed the spokesperson. The UN team is also continuing its campaign highlighting the 3 W's: wear a mask, wash your hands, watch your distance, and stay 6 feet apart. The first batch of emergency humanitarian aid to India sent by Russia reached New Delhi. Ambassador of Russia to India, Nikolai Kudashev, said that the Russian Federation decided to send humanitarian assistance to India in the spirit of the special and privileged strategic partnership between the two countries, as well as in the context of our anti-COVID-19 cooperation. He said for this purpose, 2 urgent flights operated by Russian Emercom arrived in New Delhi today. It has brought oxygen concentrators, lung ventilation equipment, bedside monitors, medicines, including Coronavir, and other essential pharmaceutical items. The ambassador said this is the only way we can defeat COVID-19 by uniting our endeavors and supporting each other in difficult times. He said Russia sincerely empathizes with the Indian people due to our traditionally warm and friendly relations.
2 urgent flights operated by the Russian Emercom arrived here today. These are oxygen concentrators, lung ventilation equipment, bedside monitors, medicines including Coronavir, and other essential pharmaceutical items. Joint fight against the coronavirus threat is one of the most important areas of our cooperation at present. It also includes the forthcoming deliveries of the Sputnik V vaccine starting from May 2021 and the subsequent facilitation of its production in India.
In Gujarat, the online registration for the vaccination of people above 18 years of age began yesterday. According to the State Health Department, the vaccination work of this group will start after receiving the stock from the vaccine manufacturers. However, the vaccination of the people above the age of 45 and the frontline workers will be continuing as per the schedule. More from our Ahmedabad correspondent.
The Gujarat government has said that vaccination of 18 plus group will start after receiving the stock of 1 crore 50 lakh doses ordered by the state. Meanwhile, 1,35,256 persons have been vaccinated yesterday. Vaccination of more than 1 crore 17 lakh have been completed. Out of these, nearly 22 lakh persons have received the second dose of the vaccine. Meanwhile, Gujarat has recorded 14,120 new cases of COVID-19 yesterday. Maximum 5,672 new cases reported from Ahmedabad, while Surat recorded 1,764 new cases. 174 patients lost their lives yesterday. Yogesh Pandya, Air News, Ahmedabad.
Tamil Nadu has reported more than 16,000 fresh cases of COVID yesterday. Over 110,000 people are under treatment and more than 15,000 patients have been discharged. A report from our Chennai correspondent.
Chennai has registered more than 4,700 cases. More than 1,25,000 people underwent RT-PCR tests on Wednesday. The State Education Department has asked teachers not to attend schools from 1st May and asked them to work from home and keep a tab on their wards through WhatsApp or interactive media. Theory exams for 12th standard has been postponed. State Governor Banwarilal Purohit was briefed about the measures taken to control the pandemic and also about the stock of medicines and a status update in all government and private hospitals. The governor asked the state government to devise proper strategy and arrange special camps to vaccinate all the people above 18 years of age. The government stated that approximately 7,000 ex-servicemen will be roped in to control the situation. Joy, AIR News, Chennai.
Sikkim has reported its highest ever single-day spike in COVID-19 cases, with 151 fresh cases in the last 24 hours. The state's cumulative case tally has reached 7,577, of which 1,106 are active. In April, 1,342 cases have been reported in Sikkim so far. More from our Gangtok correspondent.
Of the 151 new cases, East Sikkim recorded 114. In April, the district has recorded 1,028 of the 1,342 cases recorded in the state. The district's COVID-19 case tally has reached 5,745. The other three districts have collectively accounted for 314 cases in April. South Sikkim recorded 23 new cases in the last 24 hours. West Sikkim recorded 9 new cases with a total of 423 cases, while North Sikkim recorded 5 new cases, taking the district tally to 94. With Saikat Sarkar, Pankaj Tungel from Gangtok, AIR.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Polling underway for 8th and last phase of assembly elections in West Bengal. Polling also begins for 4th and final phase of Panchayat elections in Uttar Pradesh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi sanctions procurement of 1 lakh portable oxygen concentrators under PM CARES Fund. More than 80 lakh people register themselves for 3rd phase of COVID vaccination beginning 1st of May. Total vaccination across the country touches almost 15 crore mark. India's homegrown Covaxin found to neutralize double mutant or 617 variant of novel coronavirus. Jammu and Kashmir government imposes lockdown in 11 districts till 7 a.m. on Monday. Bihar government announces new COVID guidelines. Duration of night curfew extended. Centre leaves GPF and other non-government PF interest rate unchanged at 7.1%. And Chennai Super Kings beat Sunrisers Hyderabad by 7 wickets in IPL cricket. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
The Jammu and Kashmir government has decided to impose an 84-hour long lockdown in 11 districts. The curfew will come into effect at 7 p.m. today and remain in force till 7 a.m. on Monday. Secretary of Disaster Management Relief, Rehabilitation and Reconstruction Department, Simrandeep Singh, said that the move is aimed at curbing the surge in COVID-19 cases in the Union Territory. We have more from our correspondent.
The district magistrates of 11 districts of the Union Territory have announced 84-hour complete lockdown beginning from 7 p.m. today up to 7 a.m. on 3rd May. The districts that will remain under complete lockdown include Jammu, Kutwa, Riyasi and Udhampur in Jammu division and Srinagar, Ganderbal, Baramulla, Badgam, Pulwama, Kulgam and Anantnag district in Kashmir Valley. Essential services will, however, be exempted from the restrictions of the lockdown. As many as 3,023 fresh single-day spike of COVID cases was reported in Jammu and Kashmir, besides 30 fatalities during the past 24 hours. Sunil Kolp, AR News from Srinagar.
Bihar government has extended the period of night curfew by 3 hours from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. from today. Shops and business establishment will be closed by 4 p.m. Essential services have been exempted from this order. These decisions were taken by the Crisis Management Group headed by Chief Minister Nitish Kumar. 50 persons will be allowed for marriage ceremony, while only 20 persons will be permitted for funeral procession. The government and private offices will be closed after 4 in the afternoon. 25% attendance will be allowed in offices. The state government will bear all expenses of funeral of those who died due to COVID and related diseases. Meanwhile, fresh cases of COVID-19 continue to rise rapidly. Active cases in the state have gone up to 98,747 and they are undergoing treatment at different hospitals. Recovery rate is now at 77.09%. Over 340,000 patients have so far recovered from this infection. 87,348 people took vaccine yesterday. Over 69,55,027 people have so far been vaccinated in the state.
The Madhya Pradesh government has extended the corona curfew in the state till May the 7th to break the chain of COVID-19 transmission. At present, corona curfew is underway in several districts of the state, including in prominent cities, Bhopal, Indore and others, till May the 3rd. State Home Minister Dr. Narendra informed that the decision was taken by the Chief Minister in a meeting to review the COVID situation in the state along with the cabinet members. More from our Bhopal correspondent.
State Home Minister Dr. Narendra informed that Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has decided to extend the corona curfew till May 7th. Dr. Narendra said that the result of efforts being made to control the pandemic is being seen as the state reached 11th spot from 7th in the country as far as the number of active cases is concerned. Meanwhile, the recovery rate reached 85% on Wednesday from 80.49 a day before. State on Wednesday reported 12,758 COVID-positive cases and 105 deaths. Pooja Pivardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
The government has left GPS and other non-government PF interest rate unchanged at 7.1%. The Department of Economic Affairs said that General Provident Fund GPS and other special deposit scheme interest rate of 7.1% will be applicable for April to June quarter of the current financial year. The government has decided to maintain status quo on GPF and other non-government PF gratuity funds interest rate at 7.1%. The deposits made under the special deposit scheme for non-government provident, superannuation and gratuity funds will also bear interest at 7.1% with effect from 1st of April. The decision is in line with its earlier decision to keep interest rate on small savings schemes such as Public Provident Fund PPF, NSC, etc. unchanged for the current quarter.
Indian Coast Guard ship Samuddra Prahari has rescued 11 missing fishermen from high seas yesterday. The fishing boat carrying 11 fishermen had departed from Tamil Nadu's Tengapattinam fishing harbour in Kanyakumari on the 6th of this month for a 30-day voyage. Tamil Nadu Fishing Department had reported sighting of debris in the area, presuming that the boat had sunk. The search mission was launched at a distance of 1,100 kilometers from Goa. After 4 days of continuous search, Coast Guard located the fishing boat yesterday. The fishing boat is expected to reach the coast around 3rd of the next month.
The Films Division will organize a 2-day festival of documentary and animation films from today. The festival is being organized to pay tributes to Dada Saheb Phalke on his 151st birth anniversary on 30th of April. 5 films on Dada Saheb Phalke will be streamed during this festival. Films Dream Takes Wings, Phalke Children, The Pea Plant Legacy, Tracing Phalke and Rangbhumi will be available for free streaming on filmsdivision.org, an official YouTube channel of the Films Division. And in IPL cricket, Chennai Super Kings beat Sunrisers Hyderabad by 7 wickets. More from our correspondent.
A 129-run opening stand between opener Ruturaj Gaikwad and Faf du Plessis helped Chennai Super Kings beat Sunrisers Hyderabad by 7 wickets in an Indian Premier League contest at Delhi's Arun Jaitley Stadium last night. Mumbai Indians would like to turn it around when they face Rajasthan Royals in an afternoon encounter of the Indian Premier League at the Arun Jaitley Stadium today. In the day-night game at Narendra Modi Stadium this evening, Delhi Capitals are up against inconsistent Kolkata Knight Riders. In the other sports news, in the Champions League football, Manchester City produced a superb display to come from behind and take control of their semi-final with 2-1 victory against host Paris Saint-Germain. The International Olympic Committee and Japanese organizers agreed to test Olympic athletes for the coronavirus on a daily basis. Meanwhile, Malaysia putting a temporary ban on flights from India may just prove to be the death knell for Kidambi Shrikant and Olympic medalist Saina Nehwal's hopes of qualifying for Tokyo Games. The travel ban has put doubts over whether the Indian contingent will be able to take part in the Malaysian Open, which will be held from May 25th to 30th. The annual Wimbledon tennis tournament could witness 25% crowd capacity this year. The 2021 Asian Boxing Championship, to be held in May, has now been shifted to Dubai from Delhi. India's fencing team hopes of earning an Olympic Games quota place ended at the quarterfinal stage of the Asian Olympic Qualifier tournament held in Tashkent.
National capital Delhi is expected to have a partly cloudy sky with minimum temperature recorded at 22 degrees Celsius. The cities of Srinagar and Jammu will have a mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. In Jammu, minimum temperature was 23 degrees Celsius, maximum will be around 38. Srinagar had minimum of 10 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 28. In Leh, the sky is mainly clear.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. As the online portals for registrations of COVID-19 vaccination season enthusiastic response on day one, the dailies have mentioned the crashing of all the registration apps. The Hindu on its front page cites the announcement of rules by the Election Commission for counting day. The paper writes negative test on vaccination must for agents candidates. India may become most populous country by 2022 as China said to report its first population drop in 5 decades, reports Hindustan Times. And finally, the Times of India carries an inspiring story of an 85-year-old man with dipping oxygen who gives up his bed for a younger man and dies at home.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Polling underway for 8th and last phase of assembly elections in West Bengal. Polling also begins for 4th and final phase of Panchayat elections in Uttar Pradesh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi sanctions procurement of 1 lakh portable oxygen concentrators under PM CARES Fund. More than 80 lakh people registered themselves for 3rd phase of COVID vaccination beginning 1st of May. Total vaccination across the country touches almost 15 crore mark. India's homegrown Covaxin found to neutralize double mutant or 617 variant of novel coronavirus. Jammu and Kashmir government imposes lockdown in 11 districts till 7 a.m. on Monday. Bihar government announces new COVID guidelines, duration of night curfew extended. Centre leaves GPF and other non-government PF interest rate unchanged at 7.1%. And Chennai Super Kings beat Sunrisers Hyderabad by 7 wickets in IPL cricket. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.